Howdy gamers, let's talk about the runes for Jayce top and mid lane. This champion's kind of been nerfed into the ground in a really unsavory way, but his playstyle and the runes that you should run on him has changed because of that. There's a lot of rune options for him in terms of keystones. You have Conqueror, you have Airy, you have Phase Rush, you could even run Electrocute, and you can also make an argument for Omnistone on him since he's the type of ranged into melee champion where they can make use of every single keystone from Omnistone. Starting off with the with Omnistone, I don't think it's that good as with Omnistone you don't have a consistent keystone, even though you can switch to melee form to constantly roll the different keystones. The value that you get out of them needs to be significant, and through them, you're rolling different values every single time, and then you need to have something basically concrete come mid to late game versus having multiple rotations of a particular keystone. And since Jayce is like a short range damage champion, then if he's not rolling the right keystones, then it's just not useful. If you roll a Glacial Augment, it's not so useful. If you were to roll Aftershock, it's not useful. Grasp, Guardian, etc. And then going into the Rune Page, it's okay. You don't get terrible values out of like what's in here, but again, it's just why I just don't see it, man. I just don't see it. As if you're rolling the wrong one, it's just bad. For Airy used to be his primary rune, as a lot of what Jayce needed to do was win early games so that he would be dominating past that point, and then just have unfair stats past like level 11 or so. If you were to use Airy now, you could still kill champions like levels 1 to 2, but once you've done that, then Jayce is really falling off past that point. It's really about like getting a proper scaling on Jayce. That and your level 1 to 2 is also nerfed because of the nerfs to Jayce, and with that, you lose out on a lot of scaling. And if you're running a rune such as Airy, you're really missing out on scaling. So yes, you can get an early kill with this, and then the lethality, like a serrated Dirk first back mid or top lane, could be okay, but you're inevitably like getting outscaled past that point. With Phase Rush, I don't even see the value out of this, but it is there, and it would help you take a trade and then run the fuck away, and that would be the benefit of it. It would help you beat players that don't know what's going on anyways, as they don't get the chance to retaliate once you've initially like queued onto them. But Jayce already has a disengage in his E, so that loses a ton of value too. With Electrocute, you would have the option of dealing more burst damage once you jump onto someone, and that's okay. But again, you'd be losing out on a lot of scaling, and then you would make the champion really one-dimensional in that sense, where Electrocute can only proc onto one champion, and Jayce really doesn't function like that. He's not like Diana, he's not Zed, he's not Talon. Like, he can kill multiple targets and should be looking to do so. Electrocute's kind of like a hack to solo kill your lane without really having to play the laning phase properly or land Qs or whatever. So that's my thoughts on those runes, and I just really can't see like great value out of them. The keystone that I'm going to recommend is going to be Conqueror. With Conqueror, basic attacks and spells deal damage to enemy champions grant you 2 stacks of Conqueror for 6 seconds, and then this is 1 stack for ranged. So you do have to switch up your combos to maximally stack the Conqueror depending on your ranged or melee form. And the Conqueror stacks will give you bonus attack damage, and then once it's fully stacked, you heal for 15% of the damage you deal to champions. This has better synergy with what Jayce wants to do, as you're building up your damage before you jump onto someone, I should say. So you can build it up with your Q into the W auto, and then you can transform, and then Conqueror's procced as you're jumping onto them. And then with that, you just gain more damage overall because you're getting more bonus AD. And then with more bonus AD, you're just gaining access to more damage that you otherwise wouldn't have because of it. And in combination with his itemization, it all starts to make more sense. So with the keystone being Conqueror, the secondary rune would be Presence of Mind. Same thing, where you're really looking to scale through his runes and his itemizations. And the only way to scale with Jayce right now is through building Muramana, because without Muramana, you just simply, like, if you build lethality items or even crit items, like, you're just not scaling the same as other champions are. With Presence of Mind, takedowns restore 12% of your mixing maximum mana and then permanently increase it by 100. This is giving you more AD through Mana Mune or Muramana, and then more damage through that item once it's completed. And then in the laning phase, if you're getting a killer assist, it will help you stay in the lane and then push it out one more time, or participate in another fight, etc. And then throughout team fights too, if you've spammed your EQ 1, 2, or 3 times before a fight has even started, one killer assist is going to put you at enough mana to get another full rotation off with both ranged and melee form in combination with Mana Mune. So that with Conquer and Monomune is going to give you more scaling than you otherwise would have. And if you don't have scaling on Jayce, you really don't have anything going for you. For the third rune, it's going to be Alacrity. You don't need the tenacity, even though you are a champion that jumps in. You have disengage tools in your jump in, and then also you're just not a champion that should be tanking a lot. And then the lifesteal is okay, but with the attack speed, it makes it so that you don't have to buy an attack speed item. In combination with his W, and then that's really it, then you have enough attack speed to really work with come into late game. And then for the fourth rune, it's going to be Coup de Grace, as you're really choosing like how you get amplified damage from these three. Coup de Grace, you deal 8% more damage to champions who are below 40% health. With Cut Down, you deal 5 to 15% increased damage to champions with more maximum health in you. And then with Last Stand, you deal more damage based on how low in HP you are. Since Jayce is a ranged champion and plays most of the time in the ranged form, then you're going to get better value out of Coup de Grace because you're really looking to chunk the enemy and then jump onto them to finish them off. And Coup de Grace does that entirely. With most champions, you spend your full rotation, and then Coup de Grace is really only amplifying your auto attack damage. In Jayce's case, you can be amplifying like 3 abilities damage, or even more than that with Coup de Grace. So one of the better users of this rune. For the secondary runes, I'm going to recommend Biscuits and Time Warp Tonic, and then attack damage, and then depending on your matchup, you want to switch the Armored Magic Resist, obviously. With the Inspiration second, you get Biscuit Delivery and Time Warp Tonic. Biscuit Delivery, every 2 minutes until 6, you gain a biscuit, and then the biscuits restore 10% of your missing health or mana, and then consuming or selling a biscuit permanently increases your mana by 50. So these can give you gold. If you end up using them in an all-in, it helps you be in a better lane state. Then if you're winning lane, it also helps you have enough mana to either finish off the enemy or push out a wave to have a better reset. So that's your main utility in biscuits. The health offered by them is okay, but it's really about the mana offered through the restoration and then through the permanent increase. And then pretty similar to Presence of Mind, you're literally getting attack damage through the biscuits because they're giving you mana, and then through building Mana Mune first, then you're inevitably getting the attack damage through the mana gained. With Time Warp Tonic, consuming a potion or biscuit grants you 50% of its health or mana regeneration immediately, and then puts it on a short cooldown. In addition, you gain 5% movement speed while under its effects. So in the top lane, it helps you run someone down because of the movement speed. It also helps you escape because of the movement speed. In the mid lane, it's mostly about the immediate health or mana regen, as again, it helps you finish someone off, or if they get the jump on you, then it helps you survive their initial burst. Or if everything's even, but the enemy has an advantage, think about like Cinder level 2, level 3, level 4, then it helps you play with a higher amount of HP immediately than you otherwise would be able to, especially against champions who have really strong levels 1 to 4 that have lethals potentially against you, but you still have to fight for your CS. So effectively, it helps you survive the early game and still gives you utility come mid to late game. And I don't see any secondary runes really outweighing that on Jayce. If you're really trying to greed it out, I suppose you could go Mana Flow and Transcendence, as you would still be getting the maximum mana increase, and then with Transcendence you'd begin getting 10% cooldown reduction at level 10. So you still have the scaling aspect there. So if you have a non-lane, especially in the top lane, champions like Malphite, Maokai, like champions that are basically minions and roll over, or just like overpower you early, then you can make a better argument for Sorcery second, as you get scaling without needing the laning tool, as the lane like kind of plays itself out. So that's the runes I recommend for Jayce. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you think I'm completely wrong, let me know. Maybe you know something more about Jayce than I do. But that's really my perspective on him. And I think through getting the extra scaling through Conqueror and then the mana gain through Presence of Mind Biscuits, the attack speed, not having to build an attack speed item, and then amplified damage through Coup de Grace, I really think that's your best bet on him in the champion's current state. So if this video helped you, leaving a like on the video helps me. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I answer literally all of them. If you are interested in watching me talk about League of Legends or play it, you can check out my Twitch. It's twitch.tv/SawyerNelson. Links in the description. And that's it. I loved Jayce when he was really strong, man, but he's had his time. And fuck, I don't know why they nerfed him so hard, man. Whatever, man. Anyways, that's it. Bye-bye. See ya. Poor Jayce, man.